unlike all of their salvages and optimizations, I'm going to be doing this one off camera, kind of like that Bloody Pookie one, just because it's going to be so hard. So there it is. Just 34k Sauda Energizer spare, and I have to beat that. But I'm going to be ramping this way up, just for the sole reason that this exact thing was done a good while ago. It was before Condor got nerfed, so I'm going to keep that in mind, but it got 74,000 cash spare by RT95. I'll link the video for that. It was really good, so I'm going to have to try to like replicate like at least the potential of that one a bit, or else it's just gonna look super dumb and goofy. So we're gonna be going kind of big on here, and I'm going to be doing a few things differently. I will not be getting as much cash spare as you probably could see by the thumbnail. It's going to be 65,000 spare with Sauda Energizer on quad, and for a few reasons, I'm not going to be optimizing the early game as well. In fact, I'm just going to bring like in a whole Velociraptor to kind of beat the early game, because I do not want to really deal with that. And also because the Condor did get a pretty substantial nerf where its drag is slower, which does make things a lot harder. I negate this with a Moab glue later on round 95 that I'm forced to buy, sadly. But because of this, I can't really get even 74k spare in the first place. That would just be out of the question. I do also change a few things up. I replace the spike balls with a 301 Druid, and then I also end up having to get a, the primary training on the village and that. So just a few things different. It's not as optimal, but it's pretty close, and with some nerfs in mind, it's not that bad. There are still things that are cuttable. I could imagine that the foam is completely cuttable. That would be quite the thing to do, but you could probably do it. And if you go really insane with the glue in the early game, you could probably cut Velociraptor 2, all that stuff, and instead go for the Emperor earlier. It would be pretty insane, but you could cut some stuff and probably try to get pretty close to that 74k spare, but I just didn't have the time for this. Even with the super free and easy early game, this took over 3 hours to do, which is more than I would like to spend, but I ended up doing it just for this video. So yeah, I'll come back in a little bit when we get some developments on the Energizer though. So as you can see, the bottom two lanes have absolutely zero damage on them. That's because we're going to get Condor to drag everything to the top side. When I say everything, everything is getting dragged to the top side. So we'll just have those regular Bloons. Again, I'm doing it super easy with that foam and the Velociraptor. They can just eat everything, but most of it, well, like round 63, the ceramic rushes do get dragged by the Condor, but all the Moabs and that stuff will get pushed over, and then the ZMGs are going to be basically killed by either first strike or Sauda sword charge and that kind of stuff. So a lot of those rounds in late game are going to be pretty tricky because I really got to juggle around those abilities and make sure I have abilities up for the next round so I can destroy everything there too. But basically the idea is that you just have a the condor on close, so when things get way to the end, like at the very end, right about to leak, the condor will pick it up, move it just a littlest bit right down, so that will allow it to constantly move like a large amount of balloons. Now, even though it's a tiny amount of distance that the condor has to travel, that speed nerf does affect it a lot, so that will force me to get Moab glue on round 95. Even without Moa, even with the Moab glue, there was still like a bit of challenge in there. It took a decent amount of time, but definitely not as long as the 2 straight hours that I needed for round 98, which was just kind of insane. I get Energizer there, so now we're gonna have Energizer that will clean up a little bit. It's not the greatest with cleanup still, specifically because it has like a very short range, but we'll get all these levels up for Sauda. It will give me double the amount of first strike power, which will definitely be needed to take out ZMGs, and I'll also get more Sauda abilities, which is super cool. And the level 20 Sauda on quad is just really strong, so that's really what the power to beat a lot of the rounds will be. Specifically like 99, 95, 98, you definitely need that insane sword charge to be able to take everything out. So with all of that, it will be going pretty good. Again, as pretty much always, this was done in one single attempt. I rarely ever optimize things. In fact, I only really optimize stuff if it's just really shit in the first place. But there's a few things that could be fixed up, and a few little mistakes that I made, but nothing too big. I was still able to win with a pretty good amount of cash spare. So I think I'll just leave you off there and enjoy the rest of the round. The late game is really awesome, and there are like a lot of cool and tricky solutions, a lot of micro, a lot of RNG, all that fun stuff. Actually, a lot of it's not very fun, but yeah. Anyways, have a great day. Thanks for watching. If you want to help out the channel, you can check out these new videos, like and subscribe for more content, support the channel by becoming a member, and joining the Discord to chat with the community. Bye!